the top action priority decided upon by the Schumacher Discussion Circle. And she's making her way up here. This is really good printing.
It's crystal. Yes, it is. And as a matter of fact, with my new glasses, I thought I could read it from back there, but I can't. At Schumacher, after much deliberation, we decided on community communications. We felt that communications was a large umbrella, and there were so many things that we thought we could improve on. However, communication always was at the top. So, improving sharing of information, facilitation of referrals for help, services, and commerce. Building bridges, because in a broken community, we must first build bridges before we can move forward.
Yes, and as we mentioned, we had 2 circles at Bookville because we had enough people to have 2 circles, and so we have Circle 1, and each of the circles have 4 moderators, but the moderator who's going to present for Circle 1 is Marcus Moore.
Also at Bookville, our number 1 item was the African-centered education. As stated, you have to have a good idea where you came from to help you go where you want to be. The second one that we chose was career education. If you've been reading the paper and also listening to the news, one of the issues that we have to face is retooling. Akron used to make tires. We don't make tires anymore. It's a great technological city, and so one of the things that we would like to focus on is helping prepare for new careers. And so that's why we also chose career education.
And the last but not least is Circle 2. And we have Dr. Nelson who's going to present Circle 2's 2 action priorities. And I'll explain to you in a second why each of the Bookville circles chose 2.
We had a lot of discussion and deliberation as well. But what we came up with and what was decided on was that we would have a culturally relevant college prep readiness and career education. There's young people in there. And we felt that was very important. And then number 2 would be the knowledge of self-education. And we felt that was very important, particularly in our group, that we would make sure that we would know who we are and that we would start from the beginning, begin to know our roots. And so it's the people in the community and utilizing those in our community who has the knowledge and the skill sets that we can build upon. Because as someone said, the importance of building those bridges, we also need to know about that knowledge of the jobs that we don't know that's going to exist even 5 years from now. We want to make sure that our students are prepared. So this is where this college prep and that readiness career education comes in. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. There are going to be 4 action teams, and as you can see, African-centered issues or programming was actually decided upon by 3 of the circles, the 2 at Bookville as well as the 1 at Krause. And so rather than having 3 action teams for that, there's going to be 1 action team to develop plans for African-centered programming. And that's why the Bookville discussion circles also then chose another action priority, which was career planning and career education. And so that will be yet another action team, so that there will be 4. And basically they are, Helen Arnold again will be economic planning, economic and financial planning, the Buchel and Krauss combined action priority will be the African-centered book study and the knowledge of self-education. And then Schumacher, of course, is the communications. And then for Buchel, the additional action priority will be the culturally relevant career education and college prep and readiness. And you might be wondering, how will this work out of the schools? Well, basically what we envision is that the schools, the CLCs, serving as hubs of our communities. They're not being called community learning centers for nothing. We want to provide opportunities for the community to really become involved in what goes on in the schools and the programming. We're talking about the after school hours, weekend hours, maybe some daytime hours depending on the programming. So we envision these beautiful, wonderful new facilities being the hubs of the community so that some of the career planning, and some job training, some things might go on in the building after hours, but others may just be coordinated through the building so that you may want to, I have to give up the mic here. You may want to basically come to the building, find out information. You may want to find out resources about something. And we envision the schools, the community learning centers, serving as that hub of the community. And these are just the ways we're going to get started. But we've got so many, each circle came up with about 17 or 18 ideas. And so we're just getting started. We figure you can't pick them all, because when you pick everything, you end up doing nothing. And so we decided this is one way to get started, and then we can run on from there. So we just want to encourage everybody to sign up for an action team, and Susan's going to basically tell you what the tasks are that the action team will be committed to do, so that you can make an informed decision as to one, whether you want to sign up for one, and two, which one you want to sign up for.
Thanks, Crystal. Hopefully, all of you got the report that has all the action
priorities that came out of all the dialogues. If you did not get that report, please see one of us and we'll make sure that you do get it. You may find it very interesting. Just to let you know, Crystal talked with you about many action ideas coming out of each of the circles. Our plan from starting in the fall is to hold the dialogues in each of the CLCs every month to keep the dialogues going and priority setting continuing as action ideas are implemented. And it is our hope and our goal and our wish and our dream that that becomes the habit of the communities around the CLCs, is to meet regularly and talk about, okay, what do we need, what can we do to help improve our community, and how can the CLCs support that vision, okay? So that's the goal. And we can do this if it's important to us, which is what I always tell my children, it irritates them. But we all do what's really important to us. And so this is the hard part of the work. I always say talk is cheap. It's the easy part. The hard part is walking the walk. And so now we're moving into the really hard part of this first year, and that is the action teams. So Krista has gone over with you what those action teams are. You'll have an opportunity to either sign up on your evaluation forms, which are in your packets, or at the tables which were outside on your way out. And this is what will be required of you, of the action teams. The teams will be facilitated by our wonderful moderators, which we feel really happy about, so you won't be out there on your own. You'll have people, facilitating the work. But your first job will be to sit around the circle, see who's around the circle, and figure out who else, what other stakeholders need to be at that circle in order to do this work. And then it will be the work of the circle and the facilitators, and we'll provide support to get those people to the circle. Then you've got to decide what are the goals of the program that it is that you want to bring, so that you can be well aware of, make sure everyone's in agreement with what those goals are. And then when you start researching the programs that are already going on, you'll be able to have a benchmark in order to evaluate their programming. Is it the kind of program that's going to achieve those kind of goals? What kind of success have they had in the past? So you can really do an inventory of what's out in the community and look at not only the programming, but their effectiveness. You may also be researching models. If you don't think that you've got the model that you need to bring to of the program, services, or activities to bring into the CLC, you may research what kind of models are there and try to attract that kind of model programming to your CLC. They'll also be the part of looking at what are the costs of bringing this to our CLC, both in human, in sweat equity, and financial issues, logistical issues. What is it really going to take to bring this program here, and who can we involve in the dialogue to help that happen? You'll be researching what resources are available, both, like I said, human and financial, how you might be able to secure funding for the kind of programming you want, and what the next steps are that you need to take to implement that action program at your CLC. So these are the work groups. It's exciting work, it's good work, and it'll be hard work, but it'll be rewarding work. So that is what the research groups are going to do, and their work will start next month, in April. And we imagine that you'll be meeting about once to twice a month for how often you need to meet, for as long as you need to meet, in order to get that action idea implemented. It is our hope that during the fall of next year, the first action idea in each CLC will be implemented.
No, and also when you sign up, you'll notice on your evaluation form that which is in there, that we're asking you to put down or designate the evening that will be your preference for meeting, because it's still going to have to be evening meetings. Or if the evaluation form can be anonymous, so that if you want to evaluate, we're asking you to evaluate this program tonight. If you want to evaluate the program anonymously, you don't have to sign up for your action team on your evaluation form. You can actually sign up your 4 tables outside. For the 4 action teams, you can sign up out there. And again, when you sign up out there, please indicate the evening that you would prefer to meet. So after it's all said and done, Susan and I will go through all of the sign-ups for each of the action teams and try to pick the evening that is going to be the most convenient and for the most number of people in the group. So please remember to do that.
I just want to add one thing. Someone mentioned to me concern about coming out in the evening because she doesn't drive in the evening. We can also offer transportation and childcare, so don't let that get in your way of coming to a work group. And we'll have food. We always have food.
So at this time, we just wanted to leave open some time for some Q&A, some questions that you might have about, yes, before we move on to judging our progress, we wanted to see if anyone had any questions that either Susan or myself or the moderators could answer about anything that we've said thus far, including the reporting out of the action priorities. Any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm thinking about the research that a group may do. For example, finding out if there are other services in the area, or what other services are in the area, or finding out.
Yeah, we're going to try to have you speak in the microphone so everybody can hear.
All right, how's this?
Okay, that's good.
Okay. So, what would you suggest as a method for finding out what is available? How would you actually find out? Because sometimes the titles of things don't tell you enough about what the program or service may actually be.
Right. We'll be doing, the teams will be doing, and again, that's probably one of the first questions they'll ask themselves as a group is, so how do we want to go about finding out what's already out there? There will be probably an asset mapping type of activity where you look at what's already out there, what's in the schools, what the libraries have long lists of community organizations and services. Depends on what it is, but there will be a number of different ways for the group to research what's already out there. And then once they determine what's already out there, then I would imagine that another part of the process might be then connecting with that group or that service provider, finding out specifically what they do, what might be their barriers or obstacles to reaching their fullest potential, and then going from there. So it'll probably be a number of different avenues that they pursue in order to research it, and the group will probably, do a lot of talking about how to best do the research.